Calendar week 28 and time for some home dentistry. It's a sign of the times. Good morning all. I was just about to type let's start with the good news, but there really isn't any bad news this week, at least not on the Barracks scale. Just about everything else outside is going to pot, but that's okay, or at least it's not a surprise. The best news is that the nerve in my tooth has finally died and will never hurt me again. Huzzah! Oh yeah, and Substack seems to have introduced the ability to colour your text. It's still not possible to add a table, which would be actually useful, but at least the kids can do some colouring in now. I don't think I'll be using it much. But to touch on the toothache thing again, pain is a very strange thing. At the time that we feel it, especially if it's bad, it's your whole perception, your whole life. If you've ever hurt yourself quite badly, you'll know that the standard pain question, rated on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the worst you can possibly imagine. I've never answered above a 6 before. I've always been able to imagine quite a lot worse. Dying of a nerve in your face, though, especially this time, this was a 10. Actually, an 11. It was beyond my imagination. And then it stopped. When pain stops, all memory of it is instantly wiped. I can remember staggering around the loft at 3 a.m. with a mouthful of stale old cloves, filling the freezer with bowls of water and sipping on them to numb the white-hot pokers in my mouth. But I can't recall the physical experience. Everyone knows this. What is it they say? If we had a memory of pain, no woman would ever have more than one child. I guess that's a powerful evolutionary marker right there. So when I say that in the potager, at the typewriter, and in the workshop it was a surprisingly productive week, maybe in reality I'm talking about the sudden cessation of a week of horrific agony. Whatever it was easy to get into the garden and get stuff done. In either my first or second year here, a while ago anyway, I planted 600 trees. I've been sticking 50 to 100 into the ground ever since then, as well, and people still get cross with me for cutting one down. But that one year was the big year. Down by the lake, the proper one with the ducks on it, not the Frogger one. That is to say, the swampiest part of the Barracks. I put a mix of maybe 100 common and black alders, willow and others. The hope was to try to draw some of the water out of the ground and kill off the horsetails, which are the only thing that grow down there. Not all of them. I kept some swamp for the good old biodiversity thing. But I shrank it a bit. On the other side, where it's a little drier underfoot, I put maybe 20 or so black alders. There are now uncountable hundreds of them. This week I went down there and cut down 26. All of them about 8 metres tall or more, dead straight from having grown so close together. I should probably go and thin them way more extensively, but these 26 I needed to make another bean frame. Many of the bean seeds going into the ground this season got a bit more dried out than I'd really liked under perfect conditions, so I sowed a considerable number of backup beans. Well, they pretty much all germinated, so I decided to squeeze them in anyway. And this year we have a world record-breaking 84 bean poles, all doing their thing. Last week I mentioned the huge number of brassicas going down. I forgot about the Tuscan kale. That needs planting out this week. Sadly, though, it appears that the favourite food of the local deers is not cabbages, but red ash. The lazy beasts don't even have to bend their heads to eat it. Maybe that's why. And the tomato house. The tomato house is not finished, but it is at version 0.8. That is, it needs some corners and is missing a side and a door, and the south-facing windows need to be properly positioned. The roof won't be completed before quite a few other things happen, starting with cutting down some trees again, and there is much to be done on the back wall. But it has tomatoes in it, and the tomatoes are in many, many wheelbarrows of compost. So we can forget about the plans for the mass thermal storage and the fancy floor, and even the trimming for the beds. That's all version 1 and version 2. Version 3 is when it achieves its status as best place in the world for raising seedlings in February, and is unlikely to even be next year. But look, tomatoes in the tomato house. That is worth at least a minor version increment. I also weeded the sweet corn and the sunflowers, almost everything in the roots bed. I finally got the celeriac out into the field. It was surprisingly not showing any distress from being in a seed tray for so long, and I'm sure it'll take off now. I know there's something else to go out, but I can't remember what. I earthed up about a quarter of the potatoes, and we'll finish the rest this week. And the pumpkins are finally taken. There are a few scary weeks after the gourds get planted out where they don't do much other than sit there and look pathetic and tempting for slugs and snails. Under the ground, though, they're obviously doing something significant, because as soon as they start to set new leaves, they take off quite quickly. Well, they all set new leaves this week, so here's hoping for some visible signs of action out of that particular break this week. And there we go, we're at the bottom of the page again before 7:30. Some weeks are more philosophical, and others are more garden reports. It looks like this one was the latter. Let's see what next week brings. Either sunshine and cabbages, or the Thwaites Glacier collapses and Trump presses the big red button because he was bored and insane. Always something to look forward to, eh? Take the very best care of each other that you can, and this week I shall leave you with thoughts of modern philosopher Styles, who in fewer than 4 short sentences handily summarises the last 500,000 words of this newsletter. We don't talk enough. We should open up before it's all too much. Will we ever learn? We've got to get away. With all the pirate love this ship has to offer. See you next week. Your loving pirate Ben. XO. XO.